Welcome to Filling You In, a dental podcast with A Squared, where dentist entrepreneurs and spouses, Dr. Anushka Gaglani and Dr. Abhishek Nagaraj, welcome industry experts and innovators to explore trends in business practices, patient care, career development, and what it takes to be successful in dentistry.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Filling You In. I'm Dr. Abhishek Nagaraj.
And I'm Dr. Anushka Gaglani, collectively known as A Squared, and we're the co-founders and co-CEOs of Aereo Dental Group. Today, we're happy to welcome Amol Nirgudkar to the show to help us understand how artificial intelligence can be used by dental practices and other types of healthcare clinics to drive growth.
Amol is a stalwart in the dental industry. He's the co-founder and CEO of Patient Prism, which is more than 8,000 dental and healthcare offices leveraging its AI platform to enhance sales performance and uncover operational insights around capacity, pricing, and much more. He's had a diverse career as a CPA, a business consultant, an author, entrepreneur, and owner of several dental practices. Amol, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. We're excited to talk to one of the most exciting dental groups in the country. So the honor is mine too.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Amol, let's start by asking you, we'd like to learn more about your background and the career path that led you to your current role.
I'm a trained CPA. That's what I went to school for. And I was in that profession for 15 years, doing tax advisory, M&A work. And one fine day, 12, 13 years ago, I said, man, I want to do more with my life than accounting. And I loved accounting. It's not that I didn't love it. What I realized, I'd read a bunch of books at the time, and I said, what is my element? What am I good at, right? And I realized what I was good at really is acquiring customers. So I launched a marketing company, and I'm like, who should I target? And at the time, some of my closest friends were dentists. And so we're like, oh, maybe I should help these guys acquire more patients, and through digital marketing, SEO, before it became really popular, and started that company. And then in that process, I realized that no matter how good or successful I was at driving new patient leads to call these dental offices, if they didn't schedule an appointment, it was all a waste. And so we started recording calls and listening to them manually through human beings in my offices and manually grading and coaching them. And at the time in 2015, Alexa had just launched. And so I had no background in technology at the time. I asked my co-founder, man, could we teach Alexa how to understand dentistry? And all of a sudden, we built this little product. The U.S. Patent Office issued us like 4 or 5 patents. And we're like, man, we must be innovative because they think they're issuing us patents. So let's start a company. And so that's why Patient Prism was born. It was a complete accident. I had no idea what I was doing. And that's my journey in the AI space. An accidental entrepreneur who now is in the middle of the hottest thing that will ever touch planet Earth, which is AI.
Absolutely. We absolutely believe as dental practice owners that you can pay for all the leads and all the marketing, but if you aren't good at converting those leads into actual patients, we're losing a ton of money. And I know you're passionate about this topic. Can you give our audience maybe an overview of Patient Prism and what it does for clients?
Well, what we started to do was we thought, okay, well, we have to book more appointments. So what if we record the call, analyze the call, and provide feedback, right? When we started 10 years ago, it used to take us 3 hours to do that. Today, it takes us 25 to 30 seconds, basically allowing dental practices to understand why the patient decided not to move forward with an appointment. And knowing that instantly, none of us want to fail with anything, right? If we had an opportunity, a coach that was constantly watching what we're doing and telling us like, hey, you could redo this, right? So that was the idea, is to provide these dental practices an opportunity to reconnect with the patient that they just lost. And we did that by recording, analyzing the data, not just the keywords that were spoken, but contextually understanding, oh, the patient didn't book because you just didn't have capacity. The patient didn't book because it was not affordable to them to spend 10 grand on 2 implants. And when we started providing that information back to the dental offices, whether it was call centers, whether it was individual offices, office managers. You're like, man, no, we can fix this. We have financing, or we can we can make them into a third column. We can get the patient in. And it was all about increasing the patient flow. You're already spending money on advertising, marketing. You're driving these new patients in. The most important solemn responsibility you have is to make the patient healthier. And the only way you make them healthier is for you to make an appointment, get them come in and fix whatever they need to get fixed. And so that's what we do at Patient Prism. Now we look at broadly, how did they come in? Did they come through marketing? Now we have marketing integrations, and we look at, is marketing working well? Is it driving the right patient in the funnel? Why are we not booking that patient? Is it because it was a bad lead? Or was it because the receptionist fumbled? Is it because we didn't take their insurance? Is it because we don't have capacity? So what Patient Prism does, it takes an understanding of a conversation between patient and our clinic or our call center, analyzes what prevented the patient from moving forward, either from the marketing lens or the sales lens or the operations lens. And that's the key, right? I think part of what we think AI should be doing is figuring out how to find needles in haystacks, and then telling people, okay, well, once you know what to fix, you're going to fix it. So that's really what Patient Prism does.
Yeah, I can really vouch for that. I mean, we can keep throwing money at marketing, but if we don't know where the problem is, there's no point in that.
Right.
So Amol, your clients include a lot of different kinds of healthcare providers.
Right.
What are the special needs of dental practices that might differ from, say, a primary care or physical therapy office?
You know, the number one thing is dentistry is not insurance driven, right? We call insurance dental insurance, but it's not really. It's just a glorified discount plan.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying this against anybody, but it really is, right? So for the most part, dental patients are fee for service. Like they're mostly paying out of pocket, unless you just need cleaning and basic stuff, right? Which insurance pays for. So there is a more consumerism element in a dental patient than somebody who's calling primary care or cardiologist or dermatologist, because in that case, the insurance is gonna cover it. They have to have a copay, and that's it, right? One of the things that's different about dental is most people don't want to go see a dentist, right? Only 50% of Americans have seen a dentist. So when somebody actually makes an effort to call to make an appointment with their dentist, they are super engaged. They're not just a hot lead, they're like piping cold, like really hot, like the volcanic hot lead, right? They really want to come in. Because nobody just says, "Oh, let me go to the mall. Well, let me go to the dentist," right? Nobody says that, right? I would go. Let me go get my Botox then, because I look good. So that's like a vanity thing. But with
Right.
a dentist, you're not going to say that. We're like, oh, I gotta go to a dentist. It's never fun. As much as we love the industry, it's never fun to say, "Let me go to a dentist." So we have to make sure we are even more vigilant when they are calling and they have made an extreme amount of effort to call us at our clinics, and especially new patients, right? We have no idea when the last time they were at a dentist, right? It could have been years, right? And what kind of problems they have. So in dentistry, the importance of winning their trust, the importance of empathy, the importance of really getting them to make that decision, which was a hard decision for them to make, and to get them, and it becomes so there is a bigger imperative for us to be extra nice and give them extra red carpet service and white glove service. And that's what differs with dentistry. That's what I've seen, right? If I am calling an oncologist, I'm going to come in, right? I have big problems, right? Dermatologists now these days, everybody wants the fillers, so they're going to come in, right? Other things, people are going to come in, but in dentistry, people think it's a choice, although it shouldn't be, right? People think it's a choice because if it doesn't hurt, it's not broken, which we
Right.
know, and you guys know as dentists, that it's the farthest from the truth. If it doesn't hurt, you could be swallowing all kinds of bacteria and causing heart attacks.
Yep.
And so that's where I think dentistry differs from all of other healthcare. People think it's optional. People have to be won over, and we have to earn their trust quickly. And we have to do everything in our power to get them to come in. Because once they come in and they get a good experience from folks like you, then they will become lifelong customers and they'll bring their families and friends and everybody else.
Spot on. It was something that you said that really resonated with me was we have to be even more vigilant. I can wear my clinician hat and say, I have all these patients and I can put my head in sand and be an ostrich, or I can wear my business owner's hat and say, okay, how are these patients actually coming? What's the sales funnel look like? How are they making their way to the practice? How are they leaving? I love that you really hit the nail on the head. How do you think, Amol? I know you're such an AI adopter. How do you think AI will continue to evolve? And do you see it becoming an even more powerful tool in healthcare and business in general?
With AI, I think we're merely scratching the surface right now. I mean, this is the year of the AI agent, and we're hearing everybody from Jensen Huang to Sam Altman to Sundar Pichai, and all these guys are talking about AI agents. And what it is really now we're taking AI and giving it complex tasks. We're having one AI agent work with another agent to do more complex tasks, right? And so I think 2025 is going to be a big year for AI agents to do more complex tasks, where we're going to call them digital workers, right? And they'll be able to not only like figure out, okay, well, based on, I see a situation in the future where an agent looks at the database of in the practice management system. They looks at, okay, well, what's the propensity of all these patients? Who's more likely to activate? Who's more likely going to do Invisalign? What offers do we need to offer them? Can they qualify for financing? Can we look at when do they like to come in? It's going to look at all these different things. And then another agent comes in like, all right, well, Mary Davis has been talking about this. We've had an Invisalign treatment plan on her for 3 years. And it's always been, and then we
Yeah.
will look at Patient Prism data, and she's always been concerned about money. And so if we offer her a fintech solution through fintech saying, we've approved you for $4,000 or $5,000, would you like to come in on Monday? And the agent's going to do all of that, right? Without us having to do it, right? There's multiple tasks, multiple people that have to figure all this stuff out. That's where it is, right? We're building an agent that's going to answer phone calls, book appointments, make outbound calls. That's just the start. But they're going to do more complex things. Right? And it's really amazing and scary at the same time. Because, I mean, how do you then allocate the resources in the society, and what will they do? And I think people have to think about that a lot. So I think AI is going to revolutionize everything, including dentistry. And I think society's going to be better off. There's going to be some dislocations that happen in the short run, just like when the Industrial Revolution came,
Yeah.
and people were building shoes by hand, and then those sabots, which were as his friends called the shoe. That's where the word sabotage came, and they were sabotaging the machines to prevent them from making the shoes. And then these cobblers were losing their jobs. We're gonna go through that dislocation period, but I think the faster people figure out there's gonna be new jobs available. But we're barely scratching the surface. We have so much to do in AI, from activation of patients to diagnosis AI, which is just revolutionizing diagnosis and case acceptance. When it's the independent third party telling you that yes, you have a, 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 a periapical lesion, which means, and I didn't see that, and I'm going to take care of that today because that's going to prevent you from getting a crown in 2 years, and it's going to cost you this much today. That's a much better discussion to have than today, because the people are going to trust dentists more. And I've said that AI is going to solve the trust factor. AI is going to solve case acceptance when people can say zeros and ones do not lie. Zeros and ones are just math. And this is not my opinion that you need to replace your crown or you need to have a root canal. It's AI is telling me through zeros and ones, this is what you need for your own health.
That's such great insight. And honestly, I really love how you put that. It's very, very exciting. It's also a little scary.
Yeah.
But I think, for us, I'm going to speak for Abhishek too. We're extremely excited for what the future holds.
Absolutely.
So Mo, what are some trends you are seeing among your dental practice clients at the moment?
Well, what I'm seeing is everybody's trying to figure out how to operationalize AI. And there's a lot of so before I talk about trends, I think there's just a lot of noise, right? Oh my God, how many things do I need to use? I need to grow my business. Same store growth has been just like a recurring theme in 2023, 2024. It's even more in 2025. Now interest rates have come down a little bit, but we still need to grow our business. Inflation has just not, yeah, it has eased, but we're still 25% higher in basic goods than we were in 2, 3 years ago, right? So a banana costing 50 cents is costing $1 today, and that's not going down, right? The rate of inflation has gone down, but so we have to still take. So the trend is like, okay, well, how do we, when we want to think about specialty, right? Orthodontics, implants, right? We've got to get patients in, we got to get patients excited, and we've got to make it easier for patients from a monetary standpoint to get them to think that this is affordable, right? So trends is like, how do we grow the business with the right kind of patients? How do we operationalize AI so that it moves the needle? Not just, oh my God, I have call summaries, or we have to like stay away from all these bright, shiny object features that come up. Oh, I'm going to have an agent. Oh, I'm going to have the call stuff. At the end of the day, we've got dental practices are figuring out today of how to leverage technology to really drive the most fundamental challenge that every practice has at some point in their time is how do we get patient flow going? And how do we get the right patient flow too? Because not all patients, I mean, yes, you could have 90% hygiene patients and you're going to grow at 1% a year. So you've got to have the right patient mix. And that's something that we're helping a lot of our clients, our larger clients think about. There's the payer mix. You have to have the right payers, right? Fee for service, right payers, HMOs, maybe not, PPOs, maybe. But at the same time, you need to have subscription plans are big, right? That's happening a lot. Health subscriptions, patient financing, those rates are coming down. So that's going to be important because at some point, we're not going to go back to lower prices for a while, right? Interest rates might not go down for a while. I mean, considering where we are today, especially if the tariffs come about, right? So we don't know that. So we've got to squeeze with what we have. And almost every trend in the dental practice today, all the DSOs that I speak with, the CEOs are worried about, like, okay, well, great, technology is great, AI is great, but how does it really help me? See? Now, how does it move the needle for me? How do we get increased patient flow? And how do we bring specialty back? I mean, starts have been down on ortho side. How do we get them back going? There are some people that are trying various ideas with financing and some smart engagement campaigns to get those reactivate people who are already on the books to get them to start on orthodontic side. So it is really, the trend is not about, the trend is like, how do we grow between 5 and 10%? That's really what people are talking about right now. And I think there is some apprehension around that because it's just not easy given the environment. Inflationary environment is not better. We're not, I mean, things are better, stock market's high, but that really doesn't mean anything, right? So that's what I think everybody's trying to figure out is how to grow between 5 and 10% same store in 2025. In order to do that, how do we operationalize technology where it drives higher case acceptance, the right kind of patients? How do we leverage marketing better in the age of AI, voice search, all that stuff, right? Marketing technology is changing a lot. Google Ads has changed a lot. Meta is releasing a lot of new cool things to drive. Meta is doing some amazing work actually over the last year with AI, with their open source Llama and everything else. So I think it's back to the basics. People are figuring out how to get more patient flow, operationalize tech, and really grow between 5 and 10%. That didn't really answer your questions, what trends I see, but that's all I hear.
Yeah, that's really insightful too. Speaking of growth and moving the needle, right? Something you mentioned, Anushka and I, as dental practice, multi-practice owners, think about growth in our business as these four buckets, usually increasing price, increasing volume. Price, although we are curtailed a little bit because of insurance reimbursement and restrictions. How do we expand margins? How do we, by reducing supply costs? How do we buy and build, maybe buy an existing revenue stream? And then, of course, How do we engage the right consultants maybe to come in and improve our business, right? We also believe that growth for the sake of growth is basically the definition of cancer, right? What's your go-to advice for practice owners in terms of driving growth if that is purely what they wanted to do in 2025?
I posted this $100 billion opportunity that dental practices have to grow the industry by 100 billion in the next 5 years, right?
Yes.
And by an extra 100 billion, not just by 100 billion, extra 100 billion. And I think it starts with capacity. We've got to create capacity to see our patients quickly. Nobody wants to wait long for an appointment, right? And it's a challenge. It's a challenge. So we've got to figure out how to not just, it's not easy to just hire doctors, hire hygienists, hire assistants, right? It's not easy. We got to think about new ways, right? Without sacrificing quality of care, how do we optimize the schedules in a way where we are still seeing all the patients that need to be seen, right? Super one, right? Without that, none of the stuff that we do or the AI does, none of that stuff matters if you can get the patient in the door, right?
Right.
So capacity is number one. We've got to figure out how to create capacity. There's plenty of demand out there. Supply is a challenge. So we got to solve supply. The second thing is we got to figure out how to operationalize technology to optimize the entire journey of the patient, from marketing all the way to reappointment, right? What's that journey look like? And we got to deploy technology in every aspect of that journey: patient acquisition, marketing, tech, lead conversion, uh, showing up to case acceptance, diagnosis, billing, and reappointment, right? All that stuff. We need to inject technology in all of these things to figure out to figure out where in that journey is the patient stopping, right? We're driving a lot of people in, but they're not showing up. Or they're showing up, but we're not diagnosing them. We're diagnosing them, but they're not accepting it. Well, we're accepting it, but somehow we can't collect our AR. Or we have a leaky bucket at the bottom where they're leaving the practice, which is also a big problem, right? Scott Luna said one time, it's like 25% of patients are leaving the practice every year for a variety of reasons. One of the big reasons why patients leave the practice is because you don't have capacity. So capacity becomes a big factor, right? We've got to have room in the schedule to create it. So as you guys think about growing your businesses, if you're a middle market DSO trying to grow from 5 to 10 to 15, 30, right? Optimize your capacity. Make sure you create capacity. Make sure you invest ahead of your growth. Right? Create more capacity. If you think you need 5 operatories, no, you don't. You need 8. If you think you need 8, you need 12. Right? Build bigger offices, get capacity, because there's enough patients out there once you figure out the right solutions to get them in the door. So technology is huge, but technology by itself is not going to, sprinkle money on you. Whether it's Patient Prism, Pearl, or whoever it is, it just doesn't solve anything. Unless there is the third element, which is this capacity, technology, and change management, which requires leadership, right? So all at the end of the day, all of this doesn't matter if we can't lead and we can grow our people and we can be leaders in our own right to get people, our teams, our patients, everybody to the next level of wherever they're trying to go. We want patients to get healthier. We want to do that. We want to upscale our patients. We want to upscale our teams. But the most importantly, we want to upscale ourselves as leaders, right? And that is, I think, the lesson I learned from Pat Bauer at Heartland what's the number one thing that made Heartland become the largest DSO in the world? He said, it's really about leadership. It really, at the beginning and the end, is about leadership. We have to figure out how to grow our people, how to support our doctors. Right? Once you support, as a dental support organization, we're supporting our doctors. That's our job, right? Our job is to support the doctors and the clinicians and the hygienists and everybody else. If we support them, they will support our patients, and then everything goes great. But I think those three things, I think about them a lot. And I think from Patient Prism, we see so much opportunity wasted because, oh my God, we just couldn't put the patient in when they wanted it. That's problem number one. Technology, there's just so much noise out there. There's so much noise, so many solutions. I was at JP Morgan Health Conference this last week, and everybody and their grandmother had an AI company. Everybody. Somebody sitting next to me had an AI company. Somebody sitting at a restaurant next to me had an AI company. They had agents. They had everything, right? So we've got to go through the noise and figure out, like, how do we really... I think part of technology, what I'm thinking about is we've got to make people's lives better and easier. Our teams first. So in that order, capacity, technology, and change management, which is leadership, I think is the key to growing our industry. And I think we can grow at 9%. A 9% increase in same store growth across the industry gets us $100 extra billion by 2029.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
Yes.
Power of
Huge.
compounding is it's a lot of money, right? And we can all do that if we just focus on some of these things and just make ourselves better. Right? And I struggle with that every day and trying to be a better person and a better leader. Um, Such a wonderful industry we're in, and we have such a
No.
big opportunity to make such a big impact.
We really are. We're super blessed, and you've been super insightful as usual. We do want to do a quick lightning round with you. We're gonna shoot
Sure.
3 questions at you.
Yeah.
And shoot from the heart.
Yeah.
What was your last impulse buy?
Impulse buy. Jesus, I don't buy impulses. Let me think about that. Let me think of that. Impulse buy was Starlink.
Starlink.
Ah,
Okay.
Starlink, yeah.
okay.
I went to Argentina. I wanted to be connected, and I bought I want to buy Starlink. I got to be connected everywhere. Starlink.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's awesome. What are the 3 words that people would not use to describe you?
Uh, Not used to describe. I'm not mean. Um, it's interesting. Well, the opposite. It's really hard to think about that. I'm not mean. I'm not unkind. People would not call me unkind.
Yeah.
And people wouldn't call me dishonest.
Love it.
I think we can totally agree with that.
Yes.
And that's it. Those are the 3 things, you know. And sometimes it took a while. Honesty is a difficult thing, right? Sometimes you lie to yourself and you don't realize it. Therapy helped a lot, and something I've worked on a lot is just being authentic. And
Yeah.
sometimes you're not going to please everybody, but it's better to be authentic than not. And it's something that I
100%.
struggle with a lot. You know, sometimes you don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but sometimes you have to.
Yes.
Because it's the most authentic self you are. So
Honesty is the best
So,
form of royalty. I get it. Last question. What's your go-to karaoke song, Amol?
ooh, I really am. So this question I cannot answer because both my kids are classical musicians, and
Very cool.
I could not have an off note. And I learned classical music as growing up, so I don't sing because I'm such a big critic of myself, and so I would feel so bad singing karaoke that oh my God, this is completely. And my kids would laugh at me now because they're like, "Dad, please do not sing. You're not completely off pitch. You're off rhythm and everything else." So I can't even.
Yeah.
My kids and they're good at that, and so I'm gonna let them be great musicians, and I will just. I will watch people do karaoke and laugh at them.
That's great.
But that's it.
Oh, challenge accepted.
That's right. Well, yeah, I will. Whenever you're doing karaoke, let me come and I'll sit and laugh with you. Hopefully with you guys. If somebody's laughing, then if she's singing, then we can laugh. Abhishek, with her.
Sounds good.
hopefully.
Sounds good.
Great. Thank you very much, Amol, for being with us today. I'm Dr. Anushka Gaglani.
And I'm Dr. Abhishek Nagaraj.
Thanks for checking out today's show, and we hope you can join us again next time.
Thanks for watching this episode of Filling You In, where we uncover the insights, trends, and stories shaping the dental industry. If you like this podcast, please share it on your social channels and visit Aereo Dental Group on LinkedIn or on Instagram at Aereo Dental Group. You can also subscribe to the series and check out all of our episodes on this YouTube channel or at aerodental.com/podcast. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and let's keep elevating the dental field together.